Welcome to Unveiling GenV, their first epic day. Today we take you on an exclusive journey with these co-eds as they embark on their adventurous first day with GenV filled with highs and lows. These superhuman co-eds deal with the stress of being ranked, daily pressures, family drama, and being thrust into the spotlight. But not all soups are happy with their recent turn of events and plead for favor, while another deals with the pressure of her business being blasted on social media. Andre and Cate begin bonding over the death of Luke and vow to uncover what is really going on. Marie isn't excited about her reversal of fortune and finds solace in the arms of an all too sympathetic dean. Andre digs through his father's junk to find Luke's cell phone and message, which points a finger at Brink and the school. Cate works to assure Andre that he should work for number one, but he has other plans. Marie, feeling the heartache of an unwanting sister, doubles down on Vaught's plans. Andre almost dies attempting to infiltrate the woods, but is saved by Cate before she nearly dies. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey with GenV. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting updates. Stay tuned for more content and be ready to witness the future of GenV. Leave your comments. Elia, talk to us about today's title. First day.
Oh yeah, first day. Okay, so first day refers to the first day in the aftermath of everything that has transpired with Golden Boy, the first day of Marie trying to function on this campus as a student. So everything is chaotic and completely traumatic on this first day. Also, I feel like for Marie's character, the first day represents her actually being seen.
And speaking of being seen, let's go straight into that. Marie is now famous. Marie is now famous. So, Brittany.
Yes. So Marie wakes up, comes on campus, walks around. All of a sudden, this random white man comes in her face with a camera and is like, "What's up? This is my bestest friend ever, Marie. He's in the top 10. I get to know her." And Marie is like, "Who are you?"
And not the condescending way, but like, really, who are you? Like,
"Who are you?" And I have no cell phone, so I have no idea what's going on right now. Okay. And then he shows her, "Hey, you're in the top 10. You're a freshman that's actually in the top 10. That's unheard of."
And by the way, goes live. He goes live in that moment.
Yes. Yeah. He's like, "This is a live reaction." And she's like, "What? Oh my gosh. Look at what I've done." But she's really not done shit.
But stand up for herself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was very interesting.
Okay, and we kind of skipped over. We skipped over because it was a nice segue that Elia gave us, which allowed us to talk about Marie's first day, and she's famous now. We'll get back to it. However, the whole reason that Marie is now famous is because of the murder-suicide caused by Golden Boy. Let's start with Chad. What's happening?
So, the episode starts with the straight up aftermath of that, where they're literally cleaning up Golden Boy off the sidewalk. And putting chunks of him into these big shovels and buckets.
The gore.
And that sticks with me because I was the genius that decided to eat to start this episode. I've watched all these shows. I know what this is all about. Nope. But still, when I see the chunks going in and I'm putting the thing in my mouth, I'm like, well, I kind of don't want this no more. So,
well, Chad, the question has got to be asked: what thing did you put in your mouth?
And I'm about to log off.
It was only a Cheez-It. It was only Cheez-It. I was trying to have a little snack.
Okay, all right.
That was it. But that's why it stuck so much in my mind. It's like, this is a mistake. You made a mistake doing these two things at once. But you live and you learn. But I didn't expect to like come back to them. He's a flame dude. I just thought he the blood goes everywhere, but he all that stuff kind of burns up. But they really want to hammer home that no, this is what happens with these kind of people and make it as gory as possible. But it's also a chance to get you see Marie use her powers, not on her own blood. We saw a little bit of it in the first episode, but she plays with the remnants of blood that's still sitting there. Yeah. And she has that brief moment with Andre where they kind of look at each other and she kind of like bashfully stops what she's doing in that moment. But for her to go from that straight to her room, the cricket, who's like, let's get drunk because this is trauma stuff. And this is what I do for trauma stuff. We can get drunk or we can do drugs or we can do both. And she's just like, I already fucked up by going out with y'all with them the first time. And I want to stay under the radar, just do my stuff and get out of here. But now I'm like embroiled in all this stuff. So I'm just going to go to sleep, which I thought was very interesting because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to sleep after all this. Like,
But it reminds me of college life, though, right? Even though you have these super beings, isn't that the kind of crazy stuff that happens in college? Not to that level, obviously,
right.
but things are happening. Like, I didn't come here for this, and before you know it, my ankles are dragging. I'm getting carried home from the club. I done threw up in my boots. Like, all this has happened, and now I got to still go to class tomorrow and try to function normally. The only difference is they have superpowers and a couple of fatalities, in the process.
She's only been there one day, and she got there saying, "I'm not doing anything. I'm just gonna do this stuff." And then one day she threw that out the window, and it went to hell.
Peer pressure. I'm hanging out with these people that I don't know. I just met them, but they seem cool, and I want to be one of the cool kids. So let's go do some drugs and hang out and go to the club. No,
but the last thing that I did was went to sleep. That was the very last thing. If all I'm doing is talking about everything that I experienced, that's the least that I'm gonna do. But go to sleep. I don't remember sleep in college.
Especially
maybe 2 hours.
Stuff. Nah.
I don't know. Brittany, what you think?
I didn't sleep. I had a wonderful time.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We're talking about college.
I never did drugs.
We define drugs.
Not even marijuana.
Hey, there are different kinds of drugs.
Well, sex.
It's a drug.
It can be synonymous.
It can be a drug.
It can be an addiction.
For a while there.
But it's crazy that was her first day. So her first night coming out of her ward, I guess you could call it, that she was in, she's hanging out with these kids that she doesn't know. And Cricket's giving her an outfit and she ends up saving this lady. But then Golden Boy gets murder-suicide. And then day one, she wakes up and she's like, what the shit?
She was kind of like, there was a little bit of a warning from her, I want to say advisor, from where she was coming from, like, hey, it's a little different over there, but okay.
He tried to tell her,
don't mess up.
Do not mess up. And day one, she messed up. I think that she was a little hard on herself at first. And I think as the episode goes on, she starts to forgive herself. But at first, she was really, really hard on herself about it, because that's a lot to go through emotionally, especially with Brink expelling her and knowing that she was on thin ice.
Right.
I think she tried to go through the right channels and be the good guy and do things the right way, especially with not speaking up about Jordan Lee initially. Like, okay, look, I'm going to just go for what I know. I'm barely here. I'm just going to ride this pony off into the sunset and just be in this limelight and enjoy this for a minute, because what is trying to doing the right thing did for me? Like, nope.
I do want to get back to the whole discussion about Jordan Lee, so please remember that. However, I do want to talk about the fact that after Golden Boy died, people were kind of fake. People were being fake about that.
Mm-hmm. People were acting like they actually cared about Brink and Golden Boy, and they were not even Golden Boy. They were actually acting like they cared about Brink.
Where's his memorial with the foolishness?
The arm girl is what got me in the face.
Took me a minute. Like, I didn't see it the first time. I didn't catch it. I was like, this Winston go gadget arm. Okay, I got what I need.
Wrong.
And then as soon as she stopped recording,
that was wild. And Jordan Lee seemed like the main, excuse me, like really the only one that was super close to Brink. It doesn't seem like the rest of them were close to Brink the way Golden Boy and Jordan Lee were. But it seemed like Jordan Lee was actually close to Brink. Like, this is my mentor, and this is the person that took me under his wing and is caring for me in a way my parents can't care for me. So that was
accepts me for who I am.
Accepts me for who the fuck I am. That was good. That was good.
But did he though? I mean, in the last episode, we talked about, or at least I did. I talked about the fact that I really think that Jordan Lee's character is stronger than Golden Boy.
Golden Boy.
For Jordan Lee to be just number 2, was that Brink saying, "Hey, look, I'm going to push you up as far as I can, or I'm going to hold you back"? Which one was it?
I think holding back, because marketing wise, Jordan Lee is not as marketable as Golden Boy for mainstream America or middle America. And I don't think that he could get the money that he would if he would have pushed Jordan Lee to number 1 the way he pushed Golden Boy to number 1. What do y'all think?
It speaks to me again of the exploitative nature of the adults in this situation, because you know that Jordan Lee reveres you. So if I say, hey, this is where you belong, this is what you need to do, I've already planted those seeds in your head. So you're going to go with whatever I say. So I don't think it's just that he loved Jordan Lee so much. I think he absolutely exploited him.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it might be a little bit of both, but listening to it and thinking about it, it's just I think he recognized potential in Jordan Lee and knew where Jordan Lee could go, but also knew that all the people around, that's not the packaging they want. So he can give Jordan number two and know that he can keep Jordan at number two, and that's better than anybody else that has power is going to give Jordan, but still know that Jordan can never be number one. So it's still like he's still exploiting Jordan in the fact that Jordan recognizes that he accepts me as who I am and puts me up this far. Well, and he knows that Jordan will never question him because he's the only one that's going to put them at that level.
That is so manipulative to do to a child. Oh my God! Because at the end of the day, these are children.
Right.
Speaking of manipulation and kids, all of the kids at God U are ranked, and there's definitely a top 10. Let's speak to the pressure that these kids go through at being ranked. Let's start with Elia.
So in life, we go through these things, right? But I can't imagine doing this as a child with superhuman characteristics. So you have all the pressure from your parents, you have the pressure from your peers, and then you have the pressure from the trustees and all of these people that are pretty much looking at you like a golden pony. So they're finding ways to use you. You can't possibly have a normal upbringing. There's no way. You have powers. People are constantly looking at you. You're always in the limelight. So there's that. But then you have this whole other piece outside of the ranking that really does give them these godlike complexes as children, which is super dangerous because I can do anything that I want to do and I can kind of get away with it. It'll be covered up for me. So all I have to do is focus on my ranking or whatever. But there are a lot of pressures. So they on the one hand, you have these powers, but in essence, you are powerless. You don't really have the control. You're being puppeted.
Right.
Brittany, we were just talking about Jordan Lee. After the murder-suicide dealing with Golden Boy, Jordan was ranked, number 2? And then afterwards ranked number 5. What's happening there? I mean, we kind of sort of talked about it, but what's happening in the mind of Jordan Lee?
I think Jordan Lee is feeling a little bit discouraged, feeling used, not feeling appreciated for the things that they did in order to help the people around them. I think that Vought and the higher ups at Vought are not thinking about what pressure they're putting the children under. I think they're thinking about more of a marketing standpoint, what looks good. And I think that that's so manipulative and it's so arrogant.
They don't care. They're lab rats. They don't see them as kids.
Yes. Exactly. They are lab rats. And that's the problem. They're not looking at them like the children that they are. And as I was watching it, I was thinking about the pressures that the children are going through today are similar to what is happening on the TV. Well, what is happening in Gen V? I'm like, these kids are not under the same amount of pressures that we were under as we were growing up. So Jordan Lee, 1 minute you're a girl, 1 minute you're a boy. It depends on what's going on with you emotionally, depending on what pops out, what you feel like you want to pop out. That has to be so hard to deal with on a daily basis. And still, you're like one of the strongest out of everybody in the top 10. So you should be number 1. But again, here you go where people are second guessing you and not putting you where you should be.
And there are no days off. Everything's always on go. Everything is always recorded constantly. Right. There's no escape from the social media. None of it. Everything is on display for everyone constantly.
It's so messed up.
Chad, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, I had a couple thoughts during that, but I want to talk about like the corporatism of Vought at some point. But for Jordan specifically, Jordan, of all of them, Jordan seemed to be the most aware because I think Jordan is very much aware that because of their powers and what they do, this is like they know exactly where the corporate overlord sees them. And that's like just dealing with the other kids and the pressure of, the peer pressure of that list and the outside pressure from the parents. And since that's like a national list or global list from their perception of people outside, Jordan has all that, plus knowing that I get the best of everything. I get what I perceive to be the best of everything because this dude is here and this dude believes in me as I see it. So, like, that awareness is there, like before the dean dies, but then after he dies, all the regular stuff we're talking about, plus the fact knowing that I'm done. Like in Jordan's mind, it's like that's it. Nobody's here to protect me. If I can't convince Marie to tell the truth, I'm done. I'm never going to get anywhere. They're probably going to ship me off to like the little acting classes on the other side of campus. So like,
no, they're going to move Jordan to Baton Rouge.
They major to general studies.
Right.
Not BR. Don't do that to us.
A middle-sized market. That's what they do. That's what Bart does.
So you saying they're basically going to send the transgender person to be super for Baton Rouge. Granted, I understand in the whole state, Baton Rouge is like, if you look at the red-blue map, Baton Rouge is very blue. But we know the people in Baton Rouge. I mean, they get a whiff of that. They go.
It's not gonna go well.
Not at all.
Let's talk about Andre's dad. And I guess the real person that I really wanted here to talk about it is not here. But I mean, let's go with
Andre's dad is Bob's bitch.
Explain.
He's sitting here exploiting his son.
Speaking of exploitation, so I agree with what Brittany is saying. I'm more curious. So let's back up. So Andre's father, obviously a polarity. I'm curious about his entrance into this whole super thing. Like, how did he get here? So I like to think about character motivations, why they act the way they act, why they move the way they move. So he is just, to me, a token, honestly, and living vicariously through his son at this point. I don't remember what he was ranked or if they even addressed it to this point, but he's using his son.
He was number one when he was at God.
Okay.
I didn't remember his ranking, but he has a statue on the campus. So
right. He does have a statue that has been damaged.
Right.
To this
by his son.
By his son in a very unsavory position. But we're gonna leave that alone. So I wonder why
it's Freudian.
Not Freudian. Why he acts the way that he does. But I am not in love with his character as a father. I think that he doesn't see his son, if that makes sense. Like, I just don't think that he sees him. To me, Andre, he has all of these powers. He's very, very dynamic. But at the same time, I don't get that he feels comfortable in his power for real. Like, I don't know. That's just the way that I'm seeing kind of how he maneuvers throughout the show. Like, yeah, I can do all of these things, but to me, he doesn't own it. And that's just how I'm seeing him from what I've seen so far. Like, you can do these things and you're curious, and I don't want to give spoilers, but he's kind of, to me, he's going through the motions, just to kind of appease his father.
Right.
Chad?
Yeah, I definitely see that. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but to me, it seems like, he's like pacifying his dad, but any chance he gets to like rebel and do small rebellions that might turn into big rebellions, he does those. And I think it's because the relationship that he has with his dad is, he's projecting onto Andre what he wants for himself. It looks like projecting. No, normally in these cases, when a parent projects like that, it's because their kid can do stuff that they never could. But in this case, it seems like polarity did those things. So I'm curious as like what caused him to retire. Like, is there something there that, he had to end his shine early, so now he's trying to get his shine back through his son? Because otherwise, it's like, I mean, it's sad either way, but it's really sad if like you did have all your shine and it wasn't enough for you, so now you got to get some more of it from him, instead of like, being the loser and then projecting onto him with potential. So I would think there's something more to why he's in the position he's in and not actually like still like big bad polarity. So I kind of want to see if they touch on that, because I think there's something there.
Right, because you're still answering to other people. So do you feel like you're doing your son a service to where you can put him in a position to where he can call some of the shots as opposed to being a lapdog? I really don't know what his motivations are. I just got a bunch of theories.
I think that's why he ended up being on the trustee for the university, the trustee board for the university. He wanted to protect his son. Remember, his son went to him talking about Golden Boy, and he pulled his son close, and he was just like, "Son, I need you to stop talking." Stop talking. This could get you killed. And so, yes, I see both sides of it. I see a father who doesn't really see his son. Lots of evidence for that, but at the same time, he still loves his son. He wants the best for his son. I think the way in which he goes about it is all wrong. But speaking of that, speaking of his son Andre, Andre and Cate, they start to bond over the death of Golden Boy Luke. And so they start reminiscing about all this, their memories about him. And then also, so at a certain point, Cate said, "Okay, well, what would Luke say about this?" And then Andre says, "Well, he would do his best to get to the bottom of it." And then Brittany, what happens?
Then he sends Cricket in.
I think that's episode 3.
We got that yet. I haven't seen that yet.
Oops.
So they go sleuthing around into Luke's, I want to say apartment, into his dorm room.
Oh, yes. They look in the dorm room and everything's gone. And then once they realize everything's gone, is this where they start kissing?
Not yet.
Nope.
Not in this episode. Not in this episode. However, he looks at the time. Hold up. So they had gone to the statue. They found the cell phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He went in his dad's genitals on the statue and found the phone.
Don't ever say that again. He went in his dad's genitals. That is not.
It sounds so similar. It sounds so similar.
That's not what happened. He didn't go in his dad's genitals.
But he was feeling it.
And the statue. In the statue.
The statue of his father.
Okay.
The statue of his father.
You have to be specific because everybody hasn't seen the show, Brittany. So if you say he went in his dad's genitals, think about what you're saying. He literally went in his dad's genitals and got a phone out of his dad's genitals.
That's something that you wouldn't see, though.
That would be something to see. You sicko. You got to see things. You can't leave things out. The very important part was the statue.
The statue. The golden statue.
The golden statue.
And then what happened?
Okay. So then they saw the video of Luke talking about what was going on and how they need to look into this even further. And he talked about the woods.
So before we go there, so all right. So I happen to know why he would tell Andre, "I love you." It makes sense because out of all of his friends, Andre would be the only one that could actually, get to the cell phone. I get it.
I think he really loved Andre, though.
You say it again, Brittany?
I think he really loved Andre.
I think he really loved Andre.
He looked at him with intensity in his eyes. He grabbed him by
Naked.
his head, butt naked with a dick hard.
Oh boy.
Oh, Father.
It was like,
First of all, that man was in a fit of rage. Man, he wouldn't stop himself being naked.
But look, even before that, Andre said, "I love you, man."
They were having a bro moment. Stuff was serious. He needed to calm him down. Like
deep.
What we already know is Andre is bisexual.
That was deep. That was very sensual.
Did y'all catch in this particular episode? What's her name? Cate said Luke has had a whole bunch of dildos in his drawer, and they're missing.
I missed that. I heard her say something was missing. I didn't hear.
Say that. He did say that. What happened to the drawer of dildos?
I think Cate was fishing. I think Cate knows more about their relationship. I think Cate made both of them forget.
Oh.
I like where this is going. What else happened?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. But based on episode 2, those were my thoughts when I saw it.
Ooh, it could be like an Aes Sedai, the green Aes Sedai. Cate in the middle, and she got her chocolate and her vanilla.
Ooh.
It's straight swirl, baby.
Ooh. Hell yeah. What are your thoughts?
Say it again.
What are your thoughts?
On what specifically?
Lord, so much was said.
on Cate having both Andre and Luke.
Oh, listen, I'm an equal opportunist. I do think that was a little raggedy though. They had just put him in the buckets and stuff. So you could have waited a little bit longer before you hop on his homeboy / secret lover. You could have waited. But I think we talked about this off camera, the trauma bonding. I think that she needed something. You know, you have to imagine she has the power of persuasion, right? So it has to be difficult for her to connect with people and then really think that she's being genuine versus she's compelling them to do certain things. So Andre, I feel like she feels safe with him. So I'm not surprised that she clung to him in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Chad, your thoughts?
Oh, you throw me off with the whole made him forget all this other stuff. Like I can't get past that now. Thanks for ruining that for me. But
I think it's a good twist, baby.
I mean, it is. It's just something I would never thought of it. So now I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna start looking for breadcrumbs. There might not be no breadcrumbs, but that's what I'm gonna be doing, sitting here looking at this trail.
I mean, based on the evidence,
He had a drawer of dicks.
I mean,
if I'd have heard dildos the first time, I would have, I definitely would have paid more attention to it. But I remember her saying something was missing. I just didn't catch what she said. But with all that said, I mean, it would make sense. There are things that fit. I mean, literally and figuratively. So
he said a security officer. He said a security officer gonna be regular for the next week.
None of that. Dildos are gone. Something is wrong.
Oh, you remember that now? You remember that?
Missing a bag of dicks. This can't be okay. Whoa.
Okay, I think Chad is sufficiently blushed. Let's talk about some of these characters, especially characters that we haven't talked about in this particular episode. Have we talked about Cricket? We haven't talked about Cricket.
No, not yet.
What's Cricket doing?
So Cricket finds out. Well, Cricket befriends someone in class.
That bitch.
Oh, let's talk about it.
So she meets the guy. She talks to the guy whose penis she had jumped on and shrank on, and she's like, "Oh, because
literally jumped on.
I just hopped on your penis. I feel like we should be partners." And he's looking like, "Sorry, I already have my partner." And then that bitch comes up, and she's like, "I'll be your partner. I thought you knew that he tries to have sex with all the freshmen. Oh, you didn't know? That should have been a first signal right there that something was off with this girl." But anyway, so they become partners. They're getting high, chilling in, I think old girl's bedroom. And so Cricket tells her, "Hey, I don't, is looking for all the movies where they have tiny people in it." And the girl says something to Cricket to make Cricket open up. She was like, "We don't have to do movies where you're tiny." And at that moment, Cricket bonded with her on her side. Cricket was like, "Oh, maybe she's really cool and I can tell her my secret." And she tells that bitch, "Hey, just so you know, when I get small, I have to purge." And the girl's like, "Oh, really?" And she's listening to her story. And get out my room. She's listening to her story and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's really deep. That's deep." Pumping Cricket for information, asking her open-ended questions, letting Cricket tell her truth. And the whole time she getting material for her YouTube channel because her YouTube channel not popping like Cricket's channel is popping. Then she goes on her channel and tells everybody that Cricket purges. It makes it sound like Cricket's purging to purge, not that Cricket's purging because it helps her get small. That's her power. Who does that? I gotta charge my computer. But who does that?
That goes back to that whole social media thing, especially now, not being able to escape that. So you have all your vulnerabilities on display for the whole world to see. So not only are you struggling in private, now you're struggling in public. Everybody knows. Mm-hmm. I wanted to punch her, and I'm like, she's a little freak anyway, though, because she's in there recording another girl like, "Oh yeah, stuck on your tail," and I'm like, "You wench, you just trying to get your freak on, like you really into this, like you find somebody that got low self-esteem and you prey on them. You wench, you need to be hit with a bag of dicks that's missing from the room of Luke."
Chad.
All right, so as far as we're referring to as that bitch goes, like now keep in mind, I've only seen the first 2 episodes. I was with y'all with all of that because it was like it's fucked up that she got her to open up and then she went on and used it for clicks and whatnot. Just from this episode, the way she reacted when Cricket confronted her, one, she was just very matter of fact about it, like, "Oh, I didn't know it was a secret. It's not really this bad of a thing," and it felt like it kind of felt like she's one of them people that is not really emotional about anything. Like she may have not meant any harm. This is just how this is just what it is, and I did this. I didn't think anything was wrong with it. And her reaction when Cricket storms off, like she just says, it looks like a remorseful uh, exchange at the very end. It made me just stop. It's like maybe she's just one of those people that don't get it. She's just that straightforward, and she really didn't mean anything. Now I don't know what happens after this. I'm completely on board with her being that bitch. I'm just throwing in. She might have that other. She might not be as malicious toward Cricket as it seemed. But then also in the midst of this, she is having that girl suck on her tail, which my mouth was agape the whole time that's going on. Like this is just weird ass shit, and it was throwing me for all that.
Self-serving. She is self-serving.
I mean, no matter what, I think that is very much true.
She had the girl sucking her tail on the video so she could get more likes.
But how about the girl had to go all the way down the throat?
She choked on it.
Hey, that was definitely. You like it? I love it.
Okay, so we talked a whole lot about Andre. We talked a good deal about Jordan in this particular episode. We definitely talked about Marie, right?
Y'all talked about Marie having her first on-camera experience.
No, we didn't. Chad, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I found that part interesting. Just she's literally come from nothing, not expecting any kind of attention, like want to keep her head down, go straight through, and then she's thrust into all this. And in being thrust into all this, she has an opportunity to like do what we would probably say objectively is right and tell the truth about Jordan. Or she can go with what they've given her because, again, she doesn't have anything. And by doing the right thing, she might lose everything. Yeah, Jordan is laid out. They'll roll with anything you say. But how does she really know that to be true? So, watching the show, she's probably right. They probably would have rolled with whatever she said. But she doesn't know that in that moment. And also, the whole reason all this happened was because they left her to clean up their mess. So, Jordan was very much right when they told Marie, you don't owe me anything. You are right. You don't owe me anything. I'm asking you. And in that moment, Marie made the choice to, I don't even know if she stuck with what they told her. I think it kind of seemed like she was like, well, I'm just going to lean into this and see where that takes me.
Remember I don't remember the woman's name, but not the reporter, but what's her role?
The little media
interviewer.
Oh, yeah.
So she told her about her sister.
Right.
And that spent her head going in all kinds of different directions. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about that?
I'm just saying, mind you, okay, yes, Jordan Lee came in and saved the day with Golden Boy, but I feel like Marie was still sour. I needed something from you. You blocked me when I first got here. So I'm really feeling like I'm not fooling with you. Oh, now you need me to speak up on your behalf. No, I'm going to go ahead and play the hand that I'm dealt, and I'm going to milk this, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do for me because I feel like I'm the only one that's rocking with me. No. Whether it's wrong or right, I don't care about that so much. I need my come up. I need to be seen. I am trying to get to my sister.
Brittany, do you want to? Since you said sister, Brittany, do you want to talk about what happened to Marie in that moment when she found out about her sister?
I think that it was amazing how she held her own and did not react the way that the lady was trying to get her to react at the fact that her sister had wanted nothing to do with her, and she picked the moment to say that 10 seconds before they started to film. It's like she did that on purpose. And it was so amazing that she was able to just take the inner strength that she had and just to save face. And I think a lot of times we've seen that in this episode where she's had to put that mask on, where she's had to save face and not show who she truly is and how she truly feels. So I think that was a good segue into that for the audience to see.
Let me ask you a question. Do you prefer people who in moments like that can, find the inner strength to persevere, or would you prefer them to express how they really feel?
I think it depends on the situation. In that moment, I think she needed to persevere. I don't think that was the moment to actually cry because it's not her background story. They didn't ask anything about her background. They just wanted to know about Soldier Boy. I think that if it was a moment where
Golden Boy.
I
know what you're thinking about right now.
Man, that hoe.
We showed our age now.
But yeah,
Soldier Boy. What? It's not.
I really think that it depends on the situation. And in that situation, I'm glad that she persevered. I really am.
That's what's up. All right. So again, we've talked about Jordan. We talked about Marie. We've talked about, what character we haven't talked about? We have not talked about Sam at all. let's talk about Sam. I mean, because really, Sam is the through line. This is all about Sam. Chad, what's happening to Sam?
Well, we through the whole episode we get, they mention Sam, and Sam is Golden Boy's brother, and this is the whole reason he went in and did what he did was because of his brother that everybody thinks is dead. And we go through the whole episode, and at the very end we find out that we've already seen Sam. Sam was the kid that Marie and Andre saw get basically get taken by arrested by the you want to call them authorities or whatnot. So Andre and Cate are questioning whether they said that Sam had was schizophrenic and he had breaks and whatnot, and wondering if Golden Boy was going through that too when he did what he did, and if it had any. And I think they mentioned the wood at one point. Andre mentions that he was at the wood or something like that. So it becomes, once they get the phone, it becomes this mystery about, well, is he telling the truth about Sam? Did he have a break and he's this is all in his head? And then at the end of the episode, we find Andre breaks into that office and finds out that Sam was the kid that he saw. So now he knows that Golden Boy is telling the truth. He doesn't know exactly what Golden Boy knew. I don't think that it wasn't clear to me if Golden Boy actually saw him. I don't think he did, but whatever, him getting out is the catalyst for Golden Boy starting to think about his brother again, which I guess we find out in the later episodes. But now it's the question of where and why they're holding Sam, and what does that have to do with everything else that's going on? So,
where are they holding Sam?
Sam is in the woods. Basically this hospital, for lack of better words. I think this is a good example of being powerful, being too powerful, and you cannot control him. So now you're seeking to sedate him, keep him down here because you can't control him. So Compound V gone a little too far, and now we're basically making this child schizophrenic with all this stuff that you're injecting into him and making him even more crazy, to where he's like happy to be there now. Like, wait, maybe I am a threat, to everyone. Maybe I am the problem, Okay, a little too far. But regardless of the matter, I feel like in this episode, I found out what the woods actually was when we see Sam's character.
And by the way, Brittany, what did they do to Sam when we finally saw him in episode 2?
They were sticking that needle in his back. So
not just sticking it.
It was like a spinal tap.
Yeah.
They hammered it in there.
Oh, can you imagine?
And Dean Shetty was just looking at him.
Dean Shetty.
That's right. Yeah, she was there.
She was just looking. And Dr. Carrabba's, or is that a restaurant?
Insert video commercial.
What's his name?
I don't know his name. But I know what you're talking about.
It's Cardosa, I think.
Cardosa.
We got Soldier Boy. We got Carrabba's.
I'm hungry.
We gonna get some Italian food and some old wrappers.
But basically, the woods is where they keep all of these soups, right? Why exactly? I'm not certain. I'm not certain. The only thing that I can imagine, I think that Sam has he has the ability to project thoughts into other people. In addition to everything else that he has, he's really strong. Can't run too fast, but he's really strong. I mean, that's what I saw.
He can jump though. He can jump.
He can jump. All right. Anything that we missed in this particular episode?
I think somebody mentioned what happened to that security guard at the end, but I just figured I'd throw that one in there.
Oh yeah, that's Cate. All right. So Andre, he tried to get into the woods, and mysteriously, Cate arrives to save the day. Brittany, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Cate came out of nowhere. I'm like, she got a tracking device on that ass. Like, where did she come from? And was manipulating or using her powers to get control of the security guards. And she made one security guard take his flashlight.
Oh yeah, I had to go because she's laughing right now.
Take his flashlight and start jacking off the flashlight and fucking it on the other police officer. What is wrong with these children? What is wrong with them?
Who's being pleased in that moment? Can somebody tell me who's being pleased in that moment?
Nobody. That's the whole thing.
It is a flashlight being sucked off as if it was a penis.
Well, I mean, if they have to do what she said, what she told them to do, then that flashlight that's not where the flashlight is ending up.
Okay, what did she
Correct.
say? What did she say? I don't remember what she said exactly.
Your dark starburst. What did she say?
Your chocolate starfish.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why they were sucking it so much first, I guess. Well,
I love the show. I absolutely love the show.
this show is The Boys times 10. It is only episode 2.
Only episode 2. Only
The
episode.
Boys didn't get like this till like the end of the season.
Yeah, they have to build up equity first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, this one they got to do is like, oh, the boys worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's so much sex. It's so many penises.
And it's really, you know, like what you want, we gonna give it to you. No matter what you want, we gonna give it to you.
They've been listening to us. You have to be careful with what you say. The algorithm was listening.
Algorithm was algorithming.
ChatGPT has come up alive with these writers, and now look at what we have.
Well, y'all, thank y'all so very much for watching. Don't forget to kiss the subscribe button, click on the like button, share us on all your socials, nibble on the notification button, and make love to our senses in the comments. Y'all, we said a lot today. Make certain that we hear from you. Okay? Until next time, y'all.